Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Warden, and this is the 18th of March 2016 Genesis Models show. Now, just kickstarting the show with a nice bit of news. The workshop is getting close to being open to the public. I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks to have it open, so we're potentially talking about mid-April. I'll keep you informed on the forum and Facebook and with the shows and everything. But yeah, we're going to be opening soon. Now, back in Christmas, I was getting feedback from you guys on what to sort of do with this workshop in regards to stuff like what prices to charge for classes, one-to-one tuitions, having members meet, gaming, hobbying, all these kind of things. But I finally decided I just want to have this place as a simple, nice walk-in sort of policy. Just walk in and let's do some hobbying. So the first room, that's going to be the hobby room, and in there you just bring, if you want to bring your own kits and build warships, armor, aircraft, you want to do miniatures, diorama, just bring in whatever kit you're working on, and you can just model for the whole time that the place is open, no problems at all. And the whole idea is I will be here all the time to, if you get stuck, I can come over and help you and give you that sort of one-to-one tuition for free, or even if there's a group of you, I can sort of maybe show you a few things. It's just walk in and let's just do some hobbying and have some fun. The second room, that is the gaming room. So if you're into a bit of war gaming, you can go into the hobby room and paint your miniatures and whatnot for war gaming. But you can also I can also give you, say, a demo of maybe the latest game, or if you want to bring in a friend and bring in your armies and just war game away and use the facilities, feel free. Or if you want to bring in an army and potentially try and take me on, I'll be here with my armies as well. So those are the two rooms, and as I say, I'll be on hand to give you any sort of free tuition. The first room, there will be a little bit of a sort of a shop as well, just to generate a little bit of money, if you want to come and buy some kits. So for instance, this is coming up later on in the show, which is going to be an inbox review of our Defiant Mark 1. Now these kits, I buy these kits in, and to be honest with you, I just sort of go off and I do inbox reviews with them, and they end up just going onto my shelf, and I don't really have time to build so many kits. So what I'm doing, I'm sort of reducing the price because they've been open, put in an inbox review, and you can come in and maybe sort of pick yourself up a little bargain in that way by buying those kits that I use for inbox reviews and stuff. Also, there are like some chip shops and stuff around, so I mean, if you want to come in for the day and do some modelling, but go over, get some chips, bring them in, absolutely fine there. As for tools and stuff, I do recommend that you bring in sort of like your own tools and that. There will be like some basic tools that you can sort of loan out, so to speak. So you could come in, buy a kit, you could loan out, like I'm going to have like a little box of basic tools, and you can sort of just crack on without having to bring anything in. But it's probably more recommended that you do sort of bring your own stuff. I haven't really got the spray facilities up yet. It's going to cost a bit of money, so that will be sometime in the future where I'm going to be getting like some airbrushes and extractor fans and compressors and stuff. But still, if you want to bring in your own airbrush and compressor, feel free to bring that in. Or if you're really having some trouble, I might let you sort of sit here and I can teach you whatever it is you're having problems with. So that is the workshop open up again. It's just a walk-in policy. Come on in. Hours of opening, well, first off, it's open from Monday till Friday between the hours of 9:30 till 2:45, and then we're going to be open pretty much all day on Saturday, which is going to be, I do believe it was 10:30 till 6 p.m. on a Saturday. Saturday's probably going to be like the big main day where you know, it's the weekend, so you can all just come down and sort of do modelling, and I'll be at hand, as I say, to help you with any of your sort of modelling needs or wargaming or whatever. So that is a workshop. Hopefully I've covered everything. If you've got any more questions about that about the workshop, about sort of also whatever questions you have, I will sort of also put up the address and sort of one of those maybe Google Maps, if I can sort of integrate that into the website so you can find the place as well. But yeah, if you've got any questions where I post this show, just, you know, whatever questions you've got, just ask them, and I'll do my best to answer them and maybe sort of mention it next show or something. So let's move along with the show. Next up we have we've been working on the X47 this week, which is just over here, and hopefully you can see we are now at the stage I'm at the moment. I am all nicely deckled up. It's all sealed in with a nice gloss coat, so we are ready to sort of go into the weathering stage. However, I think I'm a little bit ahead of the videos that you've got up at the moment, but you know, here's a little clip of sort of how the X47's coming along and what to sort of expect in that anyway. So the next thing with this deckling, the one other little problem is doing all of these lines. Now they're hard because what we have, if I just show you, is we have decal 14 and 19 here. They're just long strips of a stripe here. So the problem is with that is trying to get it all lined up right and looking nice and straight without the decal sort of bending here and there, as well as getting it on. Well, first off, you know, you want to, you know, do the same sort of procedure. Now we've got a little bit of a hard one just here, which is, I do believe, decal 14, right? And this one here is even harder because it's a bit of an L shape at the same time as being long and straight. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting, you know, the micro set as normal, but what I'm doing is I'm whacking actually a fair bit of this down this time. I'm even getting a bit of water as well from our little dish over there, and the whole idea is we want to really sort of make the surface quite wet and moist, right? Because a nice wet surface is going to allow our decal to slide and move around the surface of the model, which is what we need with these kind of decals, as I said, because they can be rather tricky. So I'm just picking this up with my tweezers now. I'm just going to lay this down onto the model, and then what we need to do is we need to just slide this off, you know, pretty much the same as we've done before. Now luckily these decals are quite tough, right? They're quite strong, right? So we can get away with them sort of bending a little bit, but there are decals out there that really sort of tear and crack really easy, so you want to be even more careful with them. So what we need to do now, because we've got all this water on here and micro set and everything, we really can play with this a lot more. I'm just show you, you know, we can actually sort of like push this decal up and down all over the place, right? Now one other little trick to this is as well is you want to sort of keep everything moist as well, right? So these decals that I've just put down on here, you know, they're still wet. I've recently put them down. You know, keep them moist. We don't want them to be sticking straight away. We don't want to, you know, sort of, let's get this section done, it sticks down, move on to the next section. We want to try and keep the whole thing nice and moist and wet, so we can adjust as we put them down, because as we sort of go around putting these down, you know, we might work our way all the way around this, and then we get to this end, and actually we could do with actually moving this one just here. So it's good to sort of get them down quick and keep them moist as you're going. Now a little tip as well is, instead of sort of trying to push your decal down, let's maybe move that out the way, get a bit of a slant. Instead of trying to just sort of move your decal a bit here and a bit there, trying to get it in position, because what could potentially happen doing that is the decal will sort of have bends in it and start to sort of lose its shape and not look nice and straight. I find the best way to do it is actually go from one end. So that is the X47B. Now that is coming to an end, and because it was coming to an end, I did put up a poll on the forum for you guys to sort of pick what sort of area you would like the next video build to be, and there was a whole list of like aircraft, armor, modern warships, figures, that kind of stuff, and after all your voting and everything, the winner was to do a World War II aircraft. So that is going to be the next step-by-step video build here at Genessis-Models. So once I've finished that X47, I'm going to pick something that is World War II and air based. So thanks for all that feedback with that. I may even go out and pick a couple of kits I'd like to do, and then maybe sort of put that up in a poll for you to pick which one to build. I was sort of looking at those Tamiya 132nd scale Corsair or Spitfire, or then again there is the Hellcat by Edard, that does look nice. But yeah, I'll look into that later. Now next up in the show, we've got our kit release news, and actually that just reminds me, actually, as I say, it's going to be World War II and aircraft, the next step by step. But before I do that, I did want to try something a little bit different, because I've got a load of these products that's been sent to me by AK Interactive. So what I wanted to do was actually to do a series of tutorials after the X47. So it's hopefully going to be something a little bit different and hopefully interesting than doing sort of like a normal step-by-step. So as I say, after the X47, I'm going to be getting out the AK Interactive products, and we're going to make a series of sort of using these AK Interactive products, like a load of sort of videos on using them, which should hopefully give you a load of tutorial tips and everything using those products. And then we'll move on with the normal step-by-step, i.e. a World War II aircraft. So yeah, let's have a look at kit release news for the past couple of weeks here at Genessis-Models. Welcome to kit release news for the 18th of March 2016. Now first up we have Edard with their Legend Condor Dual Combo Limited Edition Henkel HE51 plus a Messerschmitt BF109E, and that's a nice dual combi pack, and that is in 148 scale at £31.70. We have Italiair with their McDonnell Douglas RF4E Phantom 2, that is 148 scale at £28.99. Dragon release a Stug Free F8 early production, that's 135th scale at £49.99. Dragon also releases a Stug Free Oust G late with Zimmerit, and that is also 135th scale at £45.50. Dragon releases their Panzer Free Oust J, 135th scale at £54.99. Ming Models releases a 135th scale D9R armoured bulldozer with slate armour, £57.99. They also released a Russian ZSU-23-4 Shilka self-propelled artillery gun, and that's 135th scale at £49.99. There is a Russian T-35 heavy tank by Hobby Boss, 135th scale at £49.99. We have a Jaguar E-Type by Hella, 124th scale, £19.99. We have some US Tank Crew European Theatre 1944 by Dragon, 135th scale at £11.99. And in 135th scale we have some US Ammo Loading Tank Crew World War II by Mini Art, £10.50. Then we have, quite interestingly, by AK Interactive, have released their very first kits of a BF109E1
stroke E3 at €33.95, as well as a Spitfire Mark 9C late, €33.95, and they are all in 1/48 scale. So that is all of our kit release news here at Genesis Models for the past couple of weeks.
So that is the kit release news for the past couple of weeks. Some nice kits there being released. Now this is a nice new brand spanking new tool by Airfix, the bolt and pull Defiant Mark 1. I've been waiting for this one to come out, and actually it's a World War II aircraft, so this might be the next step by step, you never know. But yeah, let's take a look at this with an inbox review of this. Really is a pretty fantastic kit really, for the price as well. And then straight after this we're just going to jump straight into the work in progress you guys do on the forum here at Genesis Models. Hello there, welcome to Genesis Models. My name is Bob Waldron, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at a brand spanking new kit here by Airfix, which is the bolt and pull Defiant Mark 1, and it is in 1/48 scale, and it is also a brand spanking new tool as well. So it really has been something that I have been really waiting for, to be honest with you. It's sort of been in my wish list for ages and just waiting for it to come out. I mean, although in World War II it wasn't a very effective aircraft, apparently in the first engagements with this aircraft it did sort of put the Luftwaffe off balance a bit by having this turreted, as you can see here, it's got like a dorsal mounted turret, which put them sort of off balance, as I say. But the Luftwaffe did learn quite quickly that all you have to do really to sort of take on the Defiant was to just head straight on, nose to nose, and it became very sort of ineffective, which is why it then went on to doing night missions. But still, I quite like the look of it anyway, and I have been waiting for this now. Let's open this up and take a quick look inside. We'll have a look at the instructions later. The decals for this kit are really good. As you can see, we've got sort of like a nice sort of matte-ish type finish. All the colours are in registry, very sort of nice vibrant colours. We do have an instrument display panel here that you can use the decals for that if you so wish. Now it doesn't say anything about cartograph decals on here, which are like the best ones in the world. But when it comes to Airfix, they seem to don't have that that brand put on the actual decals themselves. But what they do, so that you know whether you're going to get the best cartograph decals, is it's actually on the box itself where it has cartograph. You know, so we know that these decals are the best in the world, and we haven't got to worry about that. Let's put that out the way. Next up is the canopies. Now, when it comes to Airfix and canopies, they can be a little bit problematic from Airfix, but don't worry, with this brand spanking new tool, these canopies are looking nice and crystal clear. I'm not seeing any sort of cobweb effects or anything like that, or any sort of warping or anything. They're just nice and clear, crystal clear canopies. Hopefully, as you can see, they're looking really smart. So yeah, top marks there for decals and canopy there. Then we move to our first sprue. Now there's about 4 sprues in here. Nice grey plastic, not too thick, you know, not bad, pretty standard. Now if we look at some surface detail here, we can sort of see a bit of surface detail here. We've got some really well crisp, well neat recessed panel lines, and we're just looking at our wings here as well. You know, as you can see, surface detail, the plastic feels very smooth. We haven't got to worry about any rough surfaces. The only problem is with this is maybe the recessed panel lines there are sort of maybe a little bit too big, maybe a little bit out of scale, which is kind of typical for for Airfix, and not only that, there is no detail work with any sort of rivets or anything like that, which is also again pretty typical from Airfix. Our wheel well here, you know, we've got a little bit of sort of wire detail and hoses detail, just a little bit there, but other than that it's sort of a bit on the plain side, but looking good anyway. Next sprue we have here is a few bits and bobs, sort of all sorts of bits of cockpit detail, bit of nose cone. We've got some where the turret is, some bits of detail just inside there. We've got our MGs here, which I feel like they could be a little bit better detailed, but still they are not too bad. We've got our seat here as well, which does have like a bit of fabric detail on there. I don't know if you can pick that up on camera, but you know, it's a little bit better than just being plain. In fact, I do feel like it's got a bit more detail than typically Airfix does sometimes with their seats. We've got some air vents, intakes sort of going on there with a nice bit of sort of mesh detail on there. And moving along, you know, looking, you know, pretty damn good actually, apart from say the surface detail, which is a bit bland. We've got our instrument display panel here, which is looking very crisp, very detailed, with recessed and raised detail going on in there, so you know, that is looking rather good. I do believe we have about 2 types of propellers, do we? I think I noticed there was another one. No, maybe not. So we've got 1 propeller there, 3 propellers. We've got some internal detail just in here, which is like the sides of our cockpit area, which, you know, looking rather good detail. We stick that to the sides, to the fuselage section. However, you might also notice that we've got a nasty ejector pin mark right there, smack bang in the middle of a bit of detail. We've got another one there as well, which we're probably going to want to take care of. Yeah, you can take care of it. It's manageable, I guess. And then again, we've got some more bits of detail going on there, a bit of landing gear here as well. Flash on this kit is very minimal as well, which is rather good. Well, I mean, let's face it, it's a brand new tool, it shouldn't have any flash going on with it. Now we come to our last sprue here, which is of our fuselage section and our sort of tail section a bit. If we sort of move in on this again, the surface detail, you know, we've got that sort of a little bit out of scale, a bit too big sort of recessed panel lines, a little bit of rivet detail just here, hopefully as you can see there, but that is basically it. We've got some raised bolt detail just on the engine cowl. You know, that is looking rather good, but again, the lack of rivets on this kit does sort of leave the surface detail rather lacking. It is probably something that you might want to scratch build into and make your own rivets to get that sorted. Got some more detail out at the back here with the tail section. We've got some bit more detail actually on the surface of that bit, but yeah, not too bad. Ejector pin marks, I have noticed maybe 1 or 2 places you got ejector pin marks where you don't want them, but in all honesty, there isn't that many ejector pin marks in places where you don't want them. There's only sort of like 1 or 2 places, a bit of internal detail here on the fuselage section, and that is all of the pieces. A very quick run through the instructions now, if we just bring you in on the top cam. Right, again, we've got the usual little bit of a description about the aircraft itself. We have this new sort of layout with Airfix where we've got a little bit of colour, that little bit of red, which shows you where what pieces go, which does help you get those pieces where they should be going. And moving along, it is a typical World War II construction. You know, fuselage halves come together, wings come together, and then the fuselage and the wings come together, and you're basically done. Moving along, we've got our ailerons. They you can have them moving, elevators, rudders, flaps. You can have all these things sort of in all sorts of different moving up and down positions, which is rather good. Landing gear up or down, which is pretty standard. You do have a lot of sort of configurations going on in regards to the actual canopy and the actual turret. You can have like canopies open, turrets open. There's lots of different configurations there for having that in those different positions. But other than that, that is basically it. And then when it comes to our actual markings, we have two sets of markings here, which we got number 264 Squadron. We've got that nice standard Battle of Britain type camo pattern going on there, and then we've got another one just below, which is again basically exactly the same sort of camo pattern. I was sort of maybe hoping they'd do a Night Fighter version, but there we go. We've got a nice standard set of markings there. Now this kit costs about £18.99 RRP, which is rather cheap for what is a brand spanking new tool, good looking kit. Best decals in the world that you can get. The canopies are looking fantastic. You can't really grumble. The only thing that I'm grumbling about this kit is the surface detail. It is I think is extremely lacking in a bit of extra surface detail. So it is a kit that you're going to want to go off and add the extra bit of surface detail. Apart from that, absolutely loving it, and I really want to get one of these built at some point. So you might see with this in a future step-by-step in the future. But until next time, hopefully this inbox review has been beneficial to you. So until next time, this is Genesis Models. My name is Bobby Waldron, and I hope you've enjoyed. So there's the Defiant Mark 1 by Airfix, and all that absolutely beautiful work that you guys do on the forum in a work in progress format. So you know, keep up the good work there on the forum. Next up, I just want to show you a little sort of quick mini product review, because I went off and I brought this from my local hobby shop. It's a bit of scenery stuff and whatnot, and I just want to sort of show you this product and, you know, actually put it onto some miniatures here. So let's have a look at this little product review of doing some Flames of War miniatures. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at this product here, which is from Woodland Scenics. Now this is made in the USA, so you guys in the USA probably know a bit more about this than I do, and it's just a load of really cool flock. But what they do is they do this in you know, if you buy a couple of these bags, you can get all sorts of different types of colours and stuff. You know, we've got some ballast here, which is like a fine dark brown, and you can get all these different bags in you know, different sizes, finer, coarse, different colours. For this, you know, we've got some dark brown ballast, what I'm going to be using for this, and then we've got basically two types of fine some grass, basically, which we've got some fine turf here, and it's the green grass. And then if I just open that up, we've got some more fine turf, but it's like a burnt sort of grass, so a nice different colours there. And then we've also got some light green bushes, which is also quite cool, because, you know, you can sort of break these up to be sort of different scales, and for what I'm going to be using it for is, you know, we can really sort of, you know, scale it down to what is 1 in 100 scale, so quite small. So I've got some Flames of War miniatures here that I've been sort of working on for the workshop for some demo lessons, but let's get a closer look on these. Now these have already been painted up, hopefully, as you can see there. And what we're going to do, we're going to you know, put these down and see, you know, how good they are. So just getting out some normal everyday PVA glue. Get it from any sort of hobby shop. We're going to just squirt some out. Ooh, not blast some out, but squirt some out. And then we want an old-ish sort of paintbrush and some water. And what I'm going to do is I'm just sort of going to thin this down a little bit. You know, it doesn't have to be as thick as this is. Right. So, and I'll go a little bit further as well, although PVA glue is rather cheap anyway. And just getting one of these, what we're going to do is we're going to paint this on, right, nice and easily. We can just paint this on. Now, as you can see with their bases, you know, we've got, well, I've accidentally touched one of the figures. You want to sort of wipe that up, because it will go absolutely everywhere where you put the glue down, right? So with these little figures where they sort of glue onto this base, you really want to make sure you get a nice bit of glue into those little recesses, right? And it depends upon your personal preference, whether you sort of paint this all the way down the sides, or you leave a little base, which I like to leave a little bit of a base. So I want to be careful where painting around the edges, and you want to be careful where painting around their boots as well, okay? Because, as I say, if you touch any part of the model with the PVA glue, you know, the grass, the flock, the ballast is going to go wherever you put this PVA glue, right? So, you know, be a little bit careful where you put it. So with all that PVA glue on there, as you can see, what we want to do, we want to sort of quickly get out any kind of bowl. Now this is just to whack in our ballast, which actually what we could do is we could place our figures into this bowl and then literally just sprinkle this ballast on top. How easy was that? Nice, quick and easy. And then we just want to sort of shake this off, maybe just tap the underside, maybe just off camera, give it a blow, Right, and hopefully what you'll see is that even already, you know, we're looking like we're getting some pretty cool sort of dirt going on with this. Now what I like to do is just sort of brush off any of the flock or ballast that has maybe sort of gone a bit too far, and sort of I like to keep this nice little edge nice and tidy. It just looks sort of a lot neater when you do that. That's me personally. Some people like to just go all the way down, so I'm just sort of like flicking it off and just cleaning that up. Right, so now what we can do, right, is we can get out our PVA glue again, and what we're going to do is we're just going to dab this on top now. Okay, we just want to sort of dab it on top sort of randomly. I'm noticing there's a few little gaps here, so I'm just going to maybe give them a little bit more. Right, and just randomly put a couple of blobs of this here and there, dabbing it down. Right, because I want to make this look as sort of weathered as possible, and we want to just keep that as natural as possible. So yeah, just tabs here and there, and then we can put this in the tub again. Right, just like so. Now what I've done here is I've got this little bag here, and what is in this little bag just here is a mixture of our green grass and our burnt grass. Right, so it's both of these products mixed in together into this little bag just here. In fact, if you want to sort of save on a bit of wastage, let's pour back in our ballast back into its bag. Right, ready for the next stage. And this stage really sort of makes it look quite cool, so I'm just going to pour this again on top of the miniatures. There we go, fairly easy. Give it a little bit of a shake. Right, then turn it upside down, you know, tap that off, maybe give it a little bit of a blow. Right, and as you can see, that is looking rather cool. Right, I mean, we haven't done any painting, remember, or anything like that, nothing too hard. All we've done is just glued down, you know, some ballast and then some of this sort of fine grass on top. Right, and that's it. I mean, that is looking you know, sort of pretty realistic actually. I know some of you professional diorama people will probably be painting and weathering all this kind of stuff, but for wargaming or some basic sort of diorama, you know, that is looking, you know, rather cool. All right, and then with our last little bag here, we have some light green bushes. Now I like this because, I mean, it really goes a long way. You've only got to like pinch out a little bit of this stuff, right, and then we sort of just break it up. We just sort of pull it apart, and we end up with like these little bushes. Now for these ones, I do like to actually get down neat. Yeah, I like to be neat with our PVA glue to make sure they do sort of stay down. Let's just clean my brush off a little bit. Alright, so I'm just going to paint this on into some random places. Alright, just some random places to try and paint this on. Actually, that's not quite working very well. Let's get out some tweezers. Let's get some tweezers out. Let's get one of these bushes on the tweezers. Let's dip it into our pure neat PVA glue. Right, and then we can just glue that down on top of there. You know, get some random different sized bushes. Right, the whole idea is to keep this random and not to go sort of too mad and having bushes or little tufts of grass here and there. Right, just try and keep it as random as possible. Right, and there we go. I mean, that was pretty quick, pretty easy. No painting, no washes, nothing like that involved. I mean, that there is all nice and done. I think I've got another one somewhere as well that I made earlier. I do go off and I do sort of whack on a matte coat as well, to be honest with you, after this, because I find, one, it seals in the figures themselves, and it also sort of locks down the tufts of bushes and the grass and stuff, because I mean, it is still a bit sort of delicate. I mean, you kind of touch it, it does kind of make a mess, but I find a quick sort of matte coat on top does lock it in a little bit more, and sort of prevents that sort of mess. So hopefully, as you can see there, you know, really quick, easy, effective ways of you know, making some bases. Especially, I really like this stuff for the Flames of War stuff. Now, as for cost, now there are prices on these, as you can see. This fine grass is like £3.40, which is actually rather a good price, because this stuff is going to last you forever. It is a little bit random. I mean, this ballast $4.15. The bushes are like $4.95. So you're talking between maybe like the £3.50 to £5 mark to get these, but as I say, you buy a whole mixture of them, and you know, you can really sort of add a lot of variety to whatever dioramas you want to do, and they will last for a long time, unless you was to go off and do an entire wargaming board or something with this, or a really big diorama. But yeah, I well recommend it, definitely for like you war gamers out there. But actually, it is, I think you could use it as well in scale modeling. As I say, I know you die-hard diorama people out there, you know, you do your diorama a lot sort of more advanced than that. This is sort of maybe sort of basic, intermediate sort of diorama work, you know, which, you know, there's still a use there, and even in advanced sort of diorama, there's still a use for it, and you know, it really is a damn good quality product. But yeah, I do like it, and I will be using it in as I say, all sorts of areas, definitely in wargaming, and in diorama work as well. So yeah, a well recommended product. So that is Woodland Scenic Products there. A nice little tip there on how to apply that to some bases. You know, really good diorama product to get if you're doing any kind of diorama work. But now next week we have X47B, which there'll be a nice couple of episodes going up there where we're going to be going past the decking stage into the weathering stage, doing all sorts of weathering stuff, and hopefully that is going to be coming to an end sort of soon-ish. You know, we're talking like maybe 2, maybe 3 weeks left on that, and then we're going to be moving along with AK Interactive product series. So you know, sadly that is the end of the show, so I'm going to leave you with all that fantastic work that you guys do on the forum here at Genesis Models in a final reveal segment. So until next time, this is Genesis Models. My name is Bobby Waldron, and I hope you've enjoyed.